Mexico. It was a beautiful day, warm blue skies and a great wind that was unfortunately coming from the same direction we wanted to go. So we tacked our way down through Tampa Bay, under the bridge and out into the Gulf and on down the coast over the next several days and nights. Coming up on 9 o'clock, I'm just settling in a salon berth that I have set up on the couch. Barry and Tom are taking the first watch. Sea state is not bad. We're doing about 5 knots, tacking south into the wind. We left St. Petersburg at noon. Just went out to sail around and see how things went, and things went well, so we kept going. Had some excitement, got up to maybe 8.5 knots at times. Waves are still reasonably high, like right now, but they're not close together, so it just rises up and goes down. Boat just seems to be sailing well. This is our first overnight ever. Nervous, exciting, interesting. The moon providing some light, and we have radar watching out for ships. Good night for me, and we'll see what things look like in the morning. A full moon, clear sky, and uneventful night gave way to a beautiful sunrise, our first aboard. We were adopted by several birds along the way. He's enjoying the wind off of the sail.
So this is Friday, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll definitely sail through tonight.
Yeah. What do you think about giving them water? A little lid or something?
We could put a little lid on the floor.
Let's get prepared to anchor up here. Good morning. It is Saturday, the 20-something of March, and we are just inside Fort Myers Beach. In fact, that's the northern tip of Fort Myers Beach right there, Florida. We spent the night anchored just south of Sanibel Island in about 20 feet of water, and our new anchor held well in spite of it being soft sand. We didn't move a whole lot and rocked around a little bit. It took longer to get off of the dock in St. Petersburg than I expected. It was a couple of days longer, and so I felt pressure to get going, so we tacked upwind going south from St. Petersburg. Did an overnight, and I think we were about 36 hours and just about to head out into the open Gulf to cut over to Key West, which would have been another 36-hour primarily motor for at least the first half of that. And we noticed that the engine seemed to be running well, but when I went down to do the dishes, there was no hot water. Now the hot water heater has 2 possibilities. If you're plugged into AC or using the generator, you can heat it with electrical current from that, but not with the house batteries. And if your engine's running, the coolant from the engine can run over to the hot water heater and run through it and exchange that heat to heat up the water. So we'd been running the motor for about an hour and there was no hot water coming out of the tap. So that concerned me. So I started to look around, and I looked under the engine, and there was a quart to 2 quarts of fluid under the engine that had a pink tinge to it. And when I felt it, it felt maybe a little bit slippery, and I smelled it. It smelled a little bit like engine or radiator, and so that was concerning. We just stopped in the middle of the water and just coasted. And Barry and I took probably an hour to dig around the boat and try to figure out what was going on. Sopped up the liquid. We checked the coolant level in the reservoir. We checked the coolant level underneath the coolant cap, and all of that was fine. We burped it, meaning you take the cap off and run the engine and see if air bubbles out. It did not. My biggest concern was whether fluid under the engine and the hot water not heating would be indicative of a more serious problem that would get us 100 miles from shore and not be able to continue because our engine was dead and have to be rescued from a long distance, which would not be good. I made the decision to motor back towards land and Sanibel Island, which was about 3 hours motor away. We all got a good night's sleep. And then Sue changed her plans. Instead of flying to Key West today, she flew to Fort Myers, and right now the crew is going to try to reprovision and to pick Sue up. The plan then is to motor down the coast, and then the wind should shift as we get further south, shift from the east, and from there we'll be able to sail right into Key West. Too much going on to film. I was very, very tired after only 2 hours of sleep the night before. You don't want to head out into a major situation worried. Tom is hanging out reading his book, and in the back there's a pirate ship.
Yeah, baby.
Wow, what's up, big city down here, Paul? A lot of skyscrapers.
How are they? Very good. Need a little nap?
Yeah, right. Yeah, nice.
It's a little after 11 p.m. on the 27th, and we're a couple hours into sailing away from the Florida coast of Marco Island on the way to Key West. And we started out with full sail, and within an hour or so realized it was too much. The wind came up to 20 at about 60 degrees, a little slamming of the bow. So we reefed the jib and eased the main, so we were still doing 8 knots. A couple people woke up with all the slamming, reefed the jib some more, reefed the main as well, and we're still doing 8 knots in 22 knots of wind.
The wind and waves calmed as we got closer to Key West, and we retreated to another rising sun and setting moon morning.